Huh, you guys want to check this out? The truth about Amazing Defenders? It's 10 minutes though.
Amazing Defenders is dropping.
Tesla isn't a scam. Tesla's not a scam. Elon Musk is just a weirdo. Like, he's a weirdo and he's... I don't know. I feel like he's kind of going crazy, to be honest. Watch Velma. I don't think you guys want to watch Velma.
On January 20th, 2023, and it is another deck building set where there's going to be 3 prominent new archetypes. These sets have indeed set a high bar, being responsible for archetypes such as Brave, Runic, Eldritch, and many, many more. Will Amazing Defender being responsible for archetypes such as Brave, Runic, Eldritch, and...
I mean, he could go, yeah, he can go on. Like, Sky Striker, Prank Kids, Adamancipator, Rika, Invoked. What else we got that was competitive? Dragon Maid. Maybe one more. Oka, no, not Abyss. Not Abyss and not Bearcut. Oh, Drytron. The Leon Kill archetype, which is, what's that one called? Evil Twins? Yeah, Drytron, Evil Twins. Like, there's so many good archetypes that have come out of deck building packs, chat.
Many, many more. Will Amazing Defenders live up to the hype or fall flat? Well, today I'll be telling you the truth.
What is, hold on. What hype? I feel like, so here's the thing. What hype? I feel like almost everyone has trashed this set into the ground, including me. Nah, Sharks aren't from deck building pack. But like, what hype? I haven't heard a single person that has been like legitimately. I think I've been the most excited about purely, and that's just came from like the last week. I don't think anyone's excited for this set in the slightest.
Truth about Amazing Defenders, and let you know if this set is right for you.
I'm just saying. Okay, got some Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that might be Sonic 2.
One of the 3 new
Sonic
archetypes,
1.
Pearly, is kind of like if Zodiacs and Melfi's decide to have a kid.
The Firefighter archetype was hyped.
If you're looking to exclusively play meta, you'd probably be putting this deck up for adoption, but don't let me get ahead of myself.
I'm gonna play it.
This deck revolves around Puri, which reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated Puri spell or trap to your hand. Also place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. Once per turn, you can reveal 1 Puri quick play spell in your hand, and if you do special summon 1 XYZ monster that mentions it from your extra deck, by using this face-up card you control as material, and if you do, attach the revealed card to the summoned monster. But what quick plays can you use? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the first is Pre-Memory. This card serves as a starter, and if it's underneath as material, the above monster can attach an opponent's card as material. Second is Delicious Memory, which highlights the died of monster can attach an opponent's card as material. As a starter, and if it's underneath as material, the above monster can attach an opponent's card as material. Second is Delicious Memory, which highlights the diet of the healthiest Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Fine dining. This chocolate milk.
This also serves as a starter, but only gives the XYZ mon plus 300 attack and defense. Happy Memory does the same thing, but gives the monster an extra attack. The last spell is Puri, My Friend, which is an insane consistency and follow-up card. That is, if it was printed in 2019.
Aww, why you gotta trash Puri like that?
The 1-trap Puri Leap lets you upgrade into a new XYZ, and most likely leap into game 2 as you scoop it up.
Bro, why you gotta trash my deck like this?
As you can tell, the deck aims to go into different XYZs, and in the process put materials under it. The rank 2s are Plump, Beauty, and Happiness, aka Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Pearly.
Yeah, I think his editing's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
These XYZs have 2 effects each, where the first is a quick effect if they have their corresponding memory, and the second lets you attach the period quick plays you use, and pick up a mediocre bonus effect. Plump attaches 2 spell or traps in either graveyard to attach it as material for its first effect, and banishes a monster until the end phase for its second effect. Happiness searches after battle for its first effect, and bounces a spell or trap for its second. Beauty negs an opponent's mon for its first step, and hold on here, changes the battle position of an opponent's monster. Whoa. The deck does get a little bit of salvation when looking at its buffed XYZs, ones that upgrade on top of the little guys, being X period Happiness and X period Noir. If you can somehow manage to get 5 materials under one of these little guys, you can sum them out for free. Noir is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects and can quick F, spin a card on your opponent's field or graveyard and put it to the bottom of the deck. Happiness can ignition effect and neg all your opponent's monsters without being able to be responded to, and poke for a little extra damage. While these cards do sound amazing in theory, just keep in mind that you are putting in so much work to get them that there's really no way it's worth it. It's like when a job listing says you need 4 years of training, 6 years of experience, and 3 degrees, but the reward is like minimum wage at a trashy job. Like, bro, ain't no way. On the bright side, I would like to say that the archetype from a story perspective is actually really, really well done. It's a nice touch how the memories the little bunnies have are represented as XYZ material, and there and for give them extra abilities. However, as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'm not really sure what a happy memory is.
I honestly feel like we could just stop watching the video here, because I just don't know anyone who is interested in these other 2 archetypes. Lose to Kaijus.
The next archetype is Mekanka, which are kind of like dancing spirit waifus? Question mark.
I like this meme.
They have no stat lines and like to deal the damage you
Hey,
would have
Swain, how
taken
are
to
you?
the opponent, similar to how a Toxic X gaslights you into thinking you were the problem. The first monster is Hair, the Sword Mekanka, which reads that if it gets equipped with a card, once per turn you can search a Mekanka equip spell from deck to hand. The second mon is Nini, which on your opponent's turn can steal a mon of theirs once per turn if Nini does have an equip spell. The ritual monster Heim serves as a consistency boost by letting you add a Mekanka, then discard a card. Additionally, while on the field, it can equip an equip spell from the graveyard to an appropriate target. The first equip spell is Inviting Rondo, which equips to an opponent's monster and steals it. While you can't use its effects, it does send the monster to the graveyard if the equip spell leaves. Arabesque specials a Mekanko from your deck, then bounce the equip target to the hand, being a great piece for going second.
Did it look good?
Dancing Mekanko specials a Mekanko from your hand or graveyard, then you special one from your opponent's graveyard. The last equip is Purifying, which makes it to where if your opponent specials a monster, you can bounce one on each side to the owner's hand. The quick play is the Great Mekanko of Legend, which special summons one from hand and dumps one from deck to graveyard. The ritual spell Kagura lets you ritual summon but also pop cards for each different equip spell and then inflict 1000 damage for each. On its own, the deck is pretty mid, however, Nesh and MBT have pointed out, it's pretty good in Libromancer.
I'll say that this is...
Okay, but here's the thing. Is it, first off, the MBT's like, I don't know. Is it actually good in Libromancer? I have seen these replays on DB Grinder's channel, and it's like they go on and on and on forever, and then they end on a board with like 1 negate, and I'm like, bro, why didn't you just play Pendulum? You know what I mean? Good in a rogue. It's not even good in a rogue. Like, Libromancer is terrible. Every iteration of Libromancer has been like worse than the next version. So I'm just over Libromancer. Like, let's stop trying to make that a thing.
Doom broken.
I don't know. I feel like we need to just leave Libromancer alone, Chad. Just let it
Off
die.
topic, but I'm pretty sure Libro is the only archetype where Konami had an idea for the archetype's lore. The community said, F that, no it's not, and they just made their own. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, I mean, just, log on to Twitter, you'll know what I mean. While this is by far the most competitively viable deck out of the set, I'm unfortunately still leaning towards the deck, not really seeing any meta play. Despite this, the archetype does look pretty fun, given that, the last time rituals or equips were good, Konami just kind of...
I'm going to make a proclamation. I'm going to say that that's going to be wrong. Twitch chat, type it in the chat right now. What will be the most competitively viable of these 3 types? I'm going to say it's going to be Purely. I'm going to say it's going to be Purely. Because I don't think Purely has to play as a combo deck. And like every ritual deck like has to play as a combo. There's no control ritual deck. Even Necron. Like they all have to be. I'm going to say Purely. Rescue Ace. Stop.
Kind of beat the living life out of him.
And then the archetype no one really cares about.
Last and certainly least is Rescue Ace. These guys are machine firefighters, and yeah, that's kind of it. These guys suck. Like, a lot. But it does have a fun combo, so let's check them out. The main monster in the deck, and I'm not joking, is a Fire Hydrant. While you have another Rescue Ace on board, it can't be targeted for an attack or by card effect. Once per turn, you can activate a quick play, spell, or trap the turn it was set, but only if it was set by a Rescue Ace. And finally, it searches another Rescue Ace monster. Next up is Air Hoister, which adds a Rescue Ace spell on summon, and if your opponent uses a monster effect, you contribute from your hand or field to special one from hand. Like, just stop for a second and compare this to Havness. Konami, are you even trying? Fire Engine is a free extender that gets you another special from anywhere, only if your opponent specials. Fire Attacker is also a free extender, but this time if your opponent searches once per turn, you can draw 2 and discard 1. Like, bro, how far back do we gotta go for this effect to be good? Like pretty far probably, right? Intruder searches a trap on summon, and when your opponent uses a monster F, it can tribute itself to bring back one from graveyard. Impulse has the tribute effect as well to actually summon one from deck this time, thank God. But for its first effect, I want to read this thing out so you understand how bad it is. It says, during your main phase, you can choose one effect monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice if tied, and neither player can activate that monster's effects on the field this turn. Like, what?
During your main phase, you can choose one effect monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. Wow. Why did it have to be highest attack? You get to choose if tied. Neither player can activate that monster's effect on the field this turn. Yeah, this feels like a GX effect, chat. Like, real talk, this feels like what they would put into, like, an ultra rare from, like, Tactical Evolution or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, these cards that it can't just negate, like, it only negates during your turn. You don't even get to choose the monster. It has to be the highest attack monster on your opponent's field. It only lasts for one turn. Feels like a GX effect.
If tied, and neither player can activate that monster's effects on
definitely.
the field this turn. Like, what is even that? The last monster is Turbulence, which I'm going to be honest,
monster?
if someone resolves this against you, just, like, quit the game, leave the venue, and come back some other time, okay? You can special him out by banishing 2 from graveyard, and if another card leaves the field from an opponent's card effect, he can pop 1. But here's the real effect we're looking for. On summon, he sets not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different Rescue Ace spell or traps right from your deck. Will you ever get to use this? Probably not, but hey, it's kind of cool and it's worth a shot. Now moving on to the targets for this card, we have Alert, Contain, Rescue, and Extinguish, with each getting bonus effects if you have a Fire Hydrant on board, which, you know, good luck with that. Contain negs a monster on board and makes it so it can't attack, with a buffed ability of making it unable to be used as material for any extra
People
monster.
do that right.
Alert lets you grab one from graveyard
subway.
and, you know, hear me out, but the buffed ability is you get to search one from deck. Whoa. I know I'm being repetitive, but I mean, like, literally compare this to the tier field and it's not even close. Rescue specials one from your graveyard, and if
this is not a healthy barometer, by the way. This is exactly why tier element should be, like, if everything is going to be, let's compare it to tier, nothing is going to stack up. Like, nothing is going to stack up. But this is also why tier should get, like, 8 cards hit. For anyone who says, Cap, you're going overboard. This is why. Because, like, nothing is going to stack up to tier. So, like, ban 8 cards.
Buffed one from your opponent's graveyard instead. Extinguish pops a mon and then negs its effect for the rest of the turn if buffed. Fun fact, but if you take the first letter of each of these cards, you get the word care. And I would imagine, if you play this deck, you care about padding your opponent's win-loss record. To wrap up all the garbage in this archetype, we get the field, which, oh my gosh. It only gives a 500 attacker defense only if your opponent has a monster. It gives you an extra normal summon and a draw 1 for shuffling back 4. Bruh.
Oh, I was gonna say the shuffling back doesn't sound bad. That kind of feels like that should be for
So in
purely.
conclusion, Amazing Defenders, in my opinion, is kind of like getting socks and a $20 gift card for Christmas. Like, I understand that it's technically a gift, and it's like these are technically archetypes, but is it really though?
What is it?
Competitively speaking, the set is really just like garbage, and you should probably stay away from this. However, if you play casual, you can honestly have a lot of fun with this set. Each archetype does provide, you know, a lot of these new experiences to enjoy, with some fun lore-inspired interactions mixed into the decks, like the XY Puries having memories, or the Fire Hydrant needing to be there for the Rescue Aces. I would also advise collectors to just, you know, stay away from this, given that most likely these archetypes will sadly be forgotten in about a couple of years. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Take care, guys, and have a...
I just have to figure out how purely, like, I see the win condition, chat. It's definitely the black one. because that spin and it being like immune to that card's kind of crazy. But and it's not out, right? It comes out in Cyberstorm, I think, chat. So like obviously deck's not playable until Cyberstorm.